Namaskar, brothers and sisters. Merger with the Supreme. In simple terms, what we have to do is to return home from where we came. We have all come from Supreme Entity, the nucleus of the universe. We have to return to the same destination. The child has played throughout the day away in the fields, and now that evening has come, he returns home. He thinks that his father must have returned home. Let me return home and sit near him. When one is tired of this world and worldliness, one yearns to go back to spirituality, one's home. And what is our permanent abode, our home? The Supreme Consciousness. Spiritual practice, sadhana, therefore, is the process of returning home. It is a simple task. It requires no scholarship, no knowledge, no intellectual facility, no long and tedious lecturing. When a knower of truth merges in the Supreme Being, his petty sense of existence loses itself and attaining unity with the Supreme Entity, he becomes Supreme himself. Spiritual practice is the means for expansion of the soul, not for its annihilation. So absorption of the Supreme, Samadhi, does not mean suicide but self-transcendence. One who has known the Supreme Consciousness becomes Supreme himself, for the individual entity takes on the very form of his object of ideation. One who has the Supreme as his object of ideation becomes the Supreme himself. If a salt doll goes to fathom the sea, it will certainly melt and become the sea itself. Similarly, if the knower of the Supreme Consciousness goes to fathom of Supreme, he merges in the sea of consciousness and becomes Supreme himself. Be constantly absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Consciousness and you too will become Supreme. The union of spiritual aspirant with the Supreme Consciousness has been expressed with an excellent example. A river giving up its name and identity completely merges in the sea and thereafter cannot maintain its own existence except as the sea. Similarly, a spiritual aspirant, after merging himself in the Supreme Consciousness, can no longer think of himself except as the Supreme. Seeing the Ganges River, we can tell that is the water of the Ganges. We can tell the water is Yamuna River or the water of Sarvasti River. But once they merge in the sea, we cannot separate them, nor we can distinguish the one from the other. Nevertheless, they are all there. They all have lost their respective name entities in the entity of the sea. For each and every human being, there are two eyes. The name of person, say, it's Solomon. Then the name of his little eye is a Solomon, and the name of his big eye is the Supreme Entity. The name of the little eye is Mr. Joseph, but the name of his big eye is the Supreme Consciousness. The big eye for all created beings is the same, but the little eye varies. So many bodies having so many names. The big eye is one and indivisible. For the entire universe, there is only big eye. What is yoga? It is to become one with the Supreme Entity. When you become one with the Supreme, you are getting everything. You are losing nothing. You are losing only your little name, the name of your little I, and nothing else. And in return, you are getting the supreme I. This is yoga in the spiritual sphere. Some people think that yoga means a particular exercise. No, no, no. Yoga does not mean exercise. Yoga means unification. In order to realize the supreme perfection, a human being will have to give up his or her I-ness. That is to say, she will have to merge his or her petty I feeling in the great I feeling. What is this petty I? It is like a pot full of water in a pound. Now, if the water of the pot is to be unified with that of the pound, actually, both the waters are one. The pot interventing between the two waters has to be removed. After removal of the pot, there will remain no distinction between the water of the pot and the water of the pound. Both become one. The cause of this apparent distinction between God and the unit being is this pot, the individual mind. The long and short of the whole thing is that he is infinite. If you want to realize his characteristics self, you have to earn limitlessness yourself. Identify your mind with him and you will realize that even the minutest objects are you. You are the Pacific Ocean. The universe, which is the manifestation of the cosmic energy, will appear as your own manifestation. The universe, which is the play of God, also gives him ecstatic bliss. You meditate on him and he meditates on you. Ultimately, one entity exists. That entity might be I, that entity might be he, but the differentiation between I and he disappears. I exist or he exists. The two ideas disappear. Merely exists. This is a stage of non-attributional consciousness. In the supreme stage of yogi practice, it is the supreme stance for a yogi. But for this, one requires divine help. And I know further that one is getting divine help. And I know still further that for infinite time and infinite space, one will be getting this divine help. You are all spiritual aspirants. You will certainly attain the supreme stance and enjoy that divine blessedness. You are sure to enjoy it, my sons and daughters. Sri Sri Anandamurti. I noticed that I was talking before about this division between people and big gap between two kinds of people, and I would like to explain that a little bit further, a little bit more. Yes, there are sociopaths and there are noble people, empaths. And because the smoke curtain is lifted, every day we can notice more difference between them, and the things are just becoming more obvious. Who are the negative ones? Let's say narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths. And people don't know much about it, but I will try to explain. Narcissism is like virus. That's the real epidemic. Some psychologists think that 15 to 20% of the people have that personality disorder, but some others think, also psychologists, that the percentage is much higher, maybe 30%. I would even dare to say 40%. Narcissism is taking off terribly, especially now in this moment when people showing their real faces their real I. And it's a phenomenon. It's it's a real pandemic. I also believe that narcissism is actually demonic possession. Some psychologists agree with that. Some entities are parasiting them. They are not aware of that, of course. They will never admit, one narcissist never admits that he has a problem, that he has a personality disorder, especially the covert narcissist. We have two kinds of narcissism, overt and covert narcissism. Covert narcissists are very dangerous. They can fool you for years. They're excellent actors. They are excellent learners. They can learn quickly how to adapt themselves in different situations. They can be very nice at the beginning. There are three phases which they apply, the tactics, you know. First is love bombing, then devaluation, and the third one is discard. So they can be very charming at the beginning, and they can hook you pretty well. You can believe they are very generous people, and they mirror you. They give you what you expect to get. And this phenomena is becoming every day more and more obvious because they are insecure people and they are now in fear because of this drama with the ghost bug. They are showing off more their weakness. On the other hand, empaths are becoming more empathic. They realize the humanity is in danger. They want to help to the humanity. They want to change the world. They are romantics. And the gap is just getting bigger and bigger. It's a shame. It's a shame for humanity because we are very few, the people who care about these things. Maybe only 4% of the people are awake. 95% of the people are asleep, and half of them, they're sociopaths, and they're cowards. And we have 1% left. We know who are they. The sun glazers. I would call them dark occult. People don't like to use those terms. They use some silly terms like deep state and Satanist. No, they are okay, but they are dark occult, and they want to rule the world. Yeah, but they are only 1%. We are 4%. But because we are 7 billion people, how much is that? 300 million people are awake and they are ready to fight. So in the future we should focus on those ones. Forget the sociopaths, forget the psychopaths. They are losers. I want to add that not all narcissists are psychopaths, but they are all sociopaths. But every psychopath is a narcissist as well. So we have a long fight in front of us, long way to go to change the world. And we will win. We will win because some very positive entities are helping us. Mother Nature is helping us. Everything we have in our favor. So, my dear brothers and sisters, I don't want to make this video too long. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll continue in the future about these subjects, which are very important now, considering the time we are living in. And I wish you all the best. Be happy, be strong, Don't live in fear. Don't believe what you are told, especially not the mainstream media and TV, and absolutely not. Not even YouTube videos. They are all very polluted. There are lots of talk about the problems and what's going on, but nobody is giving solution. There are lots of controlled dissidency, infiltrated. Be aware of that. And what can I say more? Just hold the line. I always like to say, help each other, love each other. Don't forget about vegetarian food. Don't forget about spirituality, meditation, sadhana, yoga, and just keep on fighting. I love you all. Namaskar.